All right, good afternoon, everybody. We got me, Rich, and Jason today, so we got 3/4 of the gang. We're just going to give you guys our final picks here for trucks at Las Vegas. We'll just go over this race preview real quick. 134 laps, mile and a half. So there's not a ton of laps to be led here. Fast laps are going to matter a little bit, but it's not, as big of a deal as it will be for like the Cup Series this week. We got Kyle Busch racing, so that's always exciting. Should make for a fun race. I already mentioned short race. They can run the entire stages without pitting, other than maybe that last stage. You'll probably have to make one green flag stop, but knowing Truck Series is probably going to be under caution anyway, so it's not going to be green flag stop. And yeah, so we'll just get right into this driver breakdown, and we'll start with you, Rich.
Well, Kyle Busch is in this race, so
that means we got to talk about him. He is $3,000 more expensive than John Hunter Nemechek, most expensive driver in the field. He'll probably be more expensive if he hops in the truck again later in the year. I personally am playing Kyle Busch, and that's pretty much all it comes down to. He's the only dominator I really think is going to lead laps and pick up a bunch of fast laps today. I think John Hunter Nemechek will probably get maybe, 15 to 20 laps of maybe fast laps and laps led. So, it's possible that he can beat Kyle Busch. He did last year, but I'm just on the Kyle Busch side, at least for this week. I just talked about John Hunter Nemechek. He very well could beat Kyle Busch. I'm today for this race, I'm going with Kyle Busch. The other two guys in this 10K range, Ben Rhodes and Zane Smith, are definitely more GPP plays because like I've said, Kyle Busch is probably going to be the highest end driver, and then it'll be John Hunter Nemechek, and these guys will probably both be below 20%. Coop?
I agree. I'm leaning Kyle Busch as well. If you're playing multiple lines, make sure you have exposure to both Kyle Busch and John Hunter Nemechek. It's super hard to fit them both into a line, and there's probably not enough laps in the race for them to get enough dominator points to both be optimal with how expensive they are, because you have to punt so deep in the field to fit them both in. So really my approach is going to be pick one or the other. And then I don't have much interest in Rhodes or Smith either, just because I think it's that important that you have to pay up for one of those two. Their equipment is that much better than the rest of the field, and one of them should get a lot of the dominator points.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher on John Hunter than these guys are. I'm probably going to go with him as opposed to Kyle Busch this week. For them being neck and neck in qualifying times, practice times, last year when they were both running, they both won 2 races. So for that $3,000 saving, I'm just leaning a little bit more towards John Hunter. You make an argument for either one of them dominate. You make an argument for them kind of splitting the laps led there. So for that $3,000 saving to get a little bit more value, in my line, that's kind of where I'm leaning thus far. So as we're moving down here, we got Ryan Preece is the only one in this 9K range that we have with, a higher interest. And that's, I know we were talking, and Rich thinks he's going to be a dark horse to kind of win this race. And then I'll mention Chandler Smith real quick. He's in the same equipment as those guys up above in Kyle Busch and John Hunter. He qualified 3rd. His practice times and everything were pretty similar to theirs. So if you're running a bunch of lines, I'd definitely get some exposure on him. He's probably going to come in with almost 0 ownership compared to those two, and basically the same equipment, the same speed. I don't foresee him winning or dominating this week, but you never know what might happen, and be good to have exposure on him.
Yeah, in this range, it's I like Ryan Preece a lot, like Kev said. And then Ty Majeski, he did post the fastest lap in practice, so he might offer a handful of place differential points, but it's tough to see him paying off at that $9,200 price tag, and it's tough to get back up in the 9K price range if you're playing Kyle Busch. So if we drop down here to the 8K range, this is where we think you're probably going to be able to get back up to if you're playing Kyle Busch and or John Hunter Nemechek, just because you're going to have to drop down real low to basically dumpster dive to get some value. But in this range, we really like Enfinger, Crafton, and Friesen. All these guys have a ton of experience on this track. They all offer, a solid 5 to 8 place differential points, and good finishing potential as well. So we really like all 3 of those guys. And the other 3 in this range are probably more so on the GPP side. But they're also all pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't find myself getting into the 9K range hardly at all, just because of having to pay up for Nemechek or Busch. And this 8K range is usually where I find myself, and most of my interest is placed on either Crafton or Friesen. I think Crafton just has a really good track record here, and looked fast, and is pointing, everything's pointing towards him having a good race. And then Friesen, I like the place differential that he has starting 17th. I think there's room for him to move forward and gain some points.
Yeah, I think you guys nailed that. And kind of as we've been playing around with lines now that we've had time, it kind of is looking like you're going to have one of either Kyle Busch or John Hunter. You're going to have probably 2 punt plays, and you're going to have about 3 guys kind of in this 8K, kind of high 7K range is how it's looking like it's going to build. So it's why we have all these guys highlighted here. And I mean, I don't really think any of them are bad plays. Don't really have anything bad to say about any of them. It's just going to kind of be who fits in your line the best moving forward. And, probably getting a little bit of exposure on all of them is going to be good, because they kind of qualified right where you'd hope they would, to be able to offer you that upside without a lot of that risk. And I think they all definitely have the potential to finish top 15, top 10. So moving on, we'll let you start in on this next range, Rich.
Yeah, in this range, the only guy we have
At high interest is Kaz Grala. He's a bit expensive for the equipment he's in, but he generally races pretty clean and should be able to take care of his car and advance forward throughout this race. You're not looking for anything too special, just for him, stay clean and finish in the top 20. Should be pretty solid. The other guys are probably more so in the GPP side. Todd Bodine coming back for the first time in, I think, 6 or 7 years. I think Coop will probably talk about him more, but he showed better speed in the practice session than he did on the qualifying lap. And then Colby Howard, he's in the same equipment that Derek Krause is in, but he's $600 cheaper, and he starts a little bit farther back, so he could end up being a pretty solid value play as well.
Yeah, like Rich mentioned there, Todd coming back to the series and getting a couple races in after taking a long break from racing in the series. But he had a decent practice, and said he was really warming up to the truck, and said he didn't even open it up wide open to start, and was really just getting his footing, but still posted respectable times. And at the end of his practice run, they tightened the truck up, and he ended up saying it hurt his qualifying time. So that actually gives us a little bit of PD possibility there. And I think he does have a quick enough truck and decent enough equipment. I think he can move forward from that 23rd spot, especially as he gets back into the swing of things. So I don't mind playing him there. I think he'll probably see some ownership, but I think it's a safe play. And at 7,500, it's a good spot to go down and get a decent driver that has room to move forward and pair him with a dominator like Kyle Busch or John Hunter Nemechek. And I think Grala falls in that same category. Those are the two that I really like in this price range, that I think have plenty of space to move forward and have a decent enough opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said there. So I'll just move on down, and we'll just call it this kind of punt play range, this kind of 6K on down range. I think our favorite in the 6K range is definitely going to be Deegan. She qualified 20th, which is about where you hope she would qualify there for. She always kind of seems to finish that mid to high teen spot, so that gives us a little bit of room for her to move up there, get some of those place differential points for us. Comes in at 65. Definitely, got the best equipment out of this group and one of the better drivers in that group. So she's by far and away the best out of that group, in my opinion. Then moving down, I really like Austin Wayne Self this week. Always does pretty good for us. He's run very well here at Las Vegas before, starting 18th. I don't see any reason he shouldn't be able to get a top 20 as long as he doesn't get in any trouble. Probably has the potential to maybe go top 15. Rich?
And then
Drop down here. Probably our favorite pump play of the entire slate is Timmy Hill. Him and his brother are running for points this year. They're putting all they got into it. he had better speed in practice than he did in qualifying, and he starts pretty deep in the field. So he offers a pretty good amount of place differential. He should be, moving up and running around the top 20 for most of the race. And, if this turns into a caution fest, he could move up even higher than that. And then as for anybody else below 6K, I like the Nice trucks, any of them really, as value if you're making multiple lines. They're generally pretty solid. There's a ton of them in the field. And so I would go with any of them. Chris Wright, Thad Moffitt, Dean Thompson, but they were all more so GPP. The best of those in this range would probably be Lawless Allen. What are your thoughts, Coop?
Yeah, I'm going to start at Grollo where I left off there. I do think Jack Wood is an interesting GPP play because I think a lot of people will see that he and Grollo are only $100 off and go with Grollo, but Jack Wood is in a GMS truck and that's decent equipment. And I think he and Deegan in that 6K price range are the two that have the best opportunity again to have a solid race and have the best finishing potential out of that group. And then I'd put Austin Wayne Self in that category too. I think he also has that same type of potential. And then moving down, Timmy Hill is my favorite. I don't mind going with a Spencer Boyd just because he's starting 35th and he can't really hurt you and he's dirt cheap. If you're fitting in, again, Kyle Busch, who's going to cost an extra $3,000 compared to any driver on any other slate. So I think you just gotta, if you're making multiple lines, mix it up with these pump plays down here, and hopefully you select the right ones to pair with the dominators that get you the lines that are making money.
So that's all we got for you guys for this video. If you want to see this spreadsheet, we'll have it posted over at our Twitter at FastCarsFM. Feel free to follow us there. Like and subscribe on this video. We'd really like to get to 300 subscribers this week. And as soon as Xfinity practice and qualifying's over, we'll get a picks video up for that. So good luck tonight, guys. Oh.